Viewmasters, it's the podcast that we do. Viewmasters, talk about movies that we view. Viewmasters, my friend Eric and me, Joe. Viewmasters, hey, let's start the show.
Hey, welcome to the Viewmasters, episode 246. Palm Springs. My name is Joe.
My name is Eric.
Hello, Eric.
Hello, Joe.
How are things?
Meaningless?
Yeah. Actually. Not wrong there. It has been 1 week since the insurrection. And, I've pretty much, with all the information that has come out about it and all of the planning that went into it and all of the people on the inside who were helping with it, nothing is, everything is, what? Words? like Donald Trump was impeached today, but it means nothing, ultimately.
No. I guess it means he now doesn't get to run again and doesn't get any post-presidential benefits.
Is that what that means?
I think so.
I know the 14th Amendment, something under the 14th Amendment would bar him from running again. I don't know if that's involved in the impeachment. I don't know how that works. He's been impeached once. You would think that would be enough. But here we are.
Yep. I'm relatively ignorant about the whole thing, other than there should be consequences, but there probably won't be.
Right.
But at this point, even just the most minor symbolic victory is, enough to make it not entirely awful, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I have enjoyed watching the people who took part in last week's insurrection get arrested and lose their jobs.
Sure.
That has been really satisfying.
I enjoyed when they, many of them discovered that they were suddenly on a no-fly list.
Yeah, that was pretty great, too.
Yeah.
This is not a politics podcast. I apologize.
It's not, but it's hard to avoid.
Yeah, in certain situations, I think so.
Yeah.
But at least we're not trapped in one day over and over again for the rest of our lives. Or are we?
Sometimes it feels like it.
Agreed.
There's definitely repetitive aspects to my life that I do not enjoy.
I remember once I made a joke on Facebook about it being Groundhog Day because every day is exactly the same over and over again. And people got real confused. Like I meant it was actually Groundhog Day. And that was people know when Groundhog Day is, right? It's in February.
Right. So had I read that, I would assume you were talking about the movie Groundhog Day.
Yeah, exactly.
The classic comedy starring Bill Murray and Chris Elliott.
Right.
And
Andy McDowell. Come on, justice for Andy McDowell.
No, I said the two main stars of that movie.
And Michael Shannon. Stephen Tobolowsky.
But does that mean people don't know what that movie is now?
I don't know what. Yeah, there was a lot of confusion that day.
Huh.
It was very strange.
That is weird.
And I swear I said something too about, how every day is exactly the same.
Right.
And it just was completely lost on people.
Gosh. That is...
I'm gonna have to look this up now. It was a very long time ago.
But
it stuck with me.
If it means that people don't know Groundhog Day the movie, then that is upsetting on various levels. And I say that as someone who thinks that movie is just okay.
Yeah. Well, I love that movie.
It's perfectly fine, but much like having to live the same day over and over again, I watched it once. I'm good.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's a fine movie. I'd be okay if I never saw it again.
Wow. All right. Strong words.
Yeah,
I watch it, or I try to watch it at least once a year.
Well, that's fun.
On Groundhog Day, naturally.
Of course.
I watch all of the holiday movies on their respective holidays.
As you should.
Big Gary Marshall fan over here.
Well, it's a good thing he's covered most of the holidays.
It's true, yeah.
At least most of the ones that you normally wouldn't have covered, right? I don't know.
Arbor Day, Flag Day. Yeah, he's got them all covered.
Yeah, there we go. Does that mean that you'll watch Palm Springs on November 9th every year?
That's a great idea. Happy Palm Springs Day.
Yeah.
I actually do really like that. I'm sad that I didn't think of it this past November.
Yeah, as you mentioned, you had seen this before.
True.
But it was back when it came out 17 years ago.
Right, at the beginning of the pandemic.
In 2020, 17 years ago, yes.
Yeah, watching it again was kind of like watching it for the first time. Like
well,
there was stuff that I remembered about it, but there was also a lot of stuff that I did not, and it was really entertaining.
Well, that's good.
Did you enjoy it?
This was my first time watching it, and before I get into any of my opinions on it, I do want to say that I mentioned last time that the reason I wanted to pick it was because I felt like it was becoming close to having sort of the concept of which I knew nothing about ruined for me. And a little behind the scenes stuff is that, usually when we announce what movie we're doing, I go and I find, like an image to pull off the internet to use for our website and for the post and whatnot. And in doing that, I had the movie ruined for me.
No! How did that happen?
I did a Google search for Palm Spring movie, and first thing that comes up is, Palm Spring, new modern take on Groundhog Day.
Oh, no.
But, you know what? Still, I found this movie to be a goddamn delight.
Yeah, I feel like even knowing what the sort of overarching premise is not, it doesn't completely ruin it.
No,
to know that going
in the movie itself, it is revealed pretty early on.
Yeah,
like even before the actual reveal of it, just the way Andy Samberg's character acts. Like, you can tell something's up. Like, he just, his big speech at the wedding, and his dance moves,
right.
all sort of are very rehearsed, like he knows exactly what he's doing. And so, that's a pretty good hint there.
Yeah.
Suffice it to say, big spoilers, for this movie, because I don't think that we can talk about it without them.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, so ultimately this movie is about time loops, sort of.
Yeah.
Well, it's not about time loops, but it figures into everything.
Yeah, I mean, the concept of how a time loop works does become an important factor.
That is true.
Towards the end.
Yeah. But it is mostly a romantic comedy. A genre that I generally don't watch much of.
Yeah.
But one thing that helps with watching that is if they are genuinely funny. And I laughed hard a lot.
It's very funny. Yeah, very funny movie. And having seen it before, I was worried that I wouldn't find it funny because
Right.
sometimes comedies aren't funny the second time.
See, that is actually exactly why I think Groundhog Day is just okay.
Okay, all right.
Because after watching it once, the next time I did watch it, didn't find it all that funny anymore.
I guess I don't think of Groundhog Day as like. There's not much in Groundhog Day that makes me like laugh out loud funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like Phil Connors enough, and I like Ned Ryerson enough, and I guess just sort of the world that Groundhog Day builds.
Okay.
That I enjoy watching it multiple times.
All right.
Like there's like I said, there's definitely funny stuff in it, but and it is a comedy, I guess, overall. But
yes.
like I would say that Palm Springs is funnier than Groundhog Day. That
absolutely.
may get me destroyed on Twitter someday. That may be what cancels me eventually.
Oh, I think you'll do something much worse.
I'm sure I will. It's only a matter of time. But
I think you're right. It is much funnier than Groundhog Day.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone in it is just so sharp, and it's not just because I guess part of Groundhog Day is that it's Bill Murray versus everyone else, basically. Like everyone else is the straight man,
Mm-hmm.
and Bill Murray is the comedian. And it's sort of him, changing from being super cynical to being more of a straight man, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And Palm Springs works really well because the duo of Andy Samberg and Chris Emiliati, they play off of each other so well, and they're both super funny,
right?
And it works really well.
I think for me, what really works for those characters is, especially with Andy Samberg's character, is that whereas, and I'll apologize to the listener that, I mean, there's no way you can't watch this movie without comparing it to Groundhog Day.
Right. Groundhog Day was the bar set for time loop movies.
And I always try to do a little research, and there's not much to say about this movie outside of just talking about it. But it did lead me down a hole of there was a link to a list of time loop movies.
Awesome.
Which I just read down the list, and I've seen quite a few of them. So apparently, I like time loop movies as a genre.
I definitely do, and I want to look up that list so I can watch more. Just a quick aside, and it's weird because I absolutely love these movies, but Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You are both on there. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Which, for some reason, surprised me when I saw them, even though, as I said, I love those movies.
Yeah.
And they are, I cannot recommend them enough. They are they're funny, they're horrific, and they are incredibly heartfelt.
Yeah, so I really liked the first one a lot, which is unfortunate because Scott Lobdell wrote it.
Yeah.
We tried to watch the second one, and I feel like we made it like 10 minutes in, and I couldn't get into that one as much as the first one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe it just wasn't in the right mood, but
It's a possibility. I did enjoy it as much, if not a little more, than the first one.
Oh wow! Okay.
If anything, mostly because they do sort of give an explanation for the time loop in it, whereas the first one it just sort of happens.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all. Not relevant to this movie.
On the subject of time loop movies, real quick, I also around Christmas we were watching bad Christmas movies, and we watched one called The 12 Dates of Christmas.
That was the first movie listed on the Wikipedia list.
Yeah, so it's exactly what it sounds like. Is this woman gets caught in a time loop and she has to go on the same date 12 times before she's able to break out of it.
That sounds amazing.
It was actually really entertaining. The female lead is Amy Smart, and the male lead is Mark Paul Gosselaar from Saved by the Bell. So
I believe you mean Franklin and Bash.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you. Have some respect.
NYPD Blue himself, Mark Paul Gosselaar. Anyway, yeah, I actually recommend 12 Dates of Christmas.
All right,
it's stupid and fun.
I'll see if the Hallmark Channel is streaming it.
I think it was on. It might have been on HBO Max.
What?
I know. I know. So there's two things called 12 Dates of Christmas. There's the movie, and then there's also some like reality show that I've heard's real bad. So make sure you watch the right one if you go looking for 12 Dates of Christmas.
All right. So look for the one that has actors in it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Or the one that's scripted, because, people in reality shows are all actors anyway.
Fair. But anyway, as I was saying, the thing that I think that works for me for the two leads in this movie, like with Andy Samberg, like we come into the movie, him having lived through the time loop for God knows how long.
Yeah.
And then accidentally sucking Kristen Milioti's character into it. Not on purpose. It just happens. But, like, with Groundhog Day, it's Bill Murray's character eventually, like, once he sort of realizes that there's no way to get out of it. It's like he actually starts improving himself and being like this pillar of the community of sorts. Whereas with Nyles, Andy Samberg's character, he is just much like his name, nihilistic.
What? I'm sad that I didn't put that together. I'm a dumb person.
I literally just made that up out of my ass.
That's good. I like that.
All right. But and then, like when Kristen Milioti, what the hell's her character's name? Sarah.
Yeah.
When Sarah gets involved and she basically just embraces the meaninglessness and recklessness of Niles's take on it. And, after a very short initial, hey, I'm going to just, I do a good deed and I get out of this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which fails spectacularly. So yeah, I like that it doesn't play into the sort of mystical goodness of Groundhog Day, I guess.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Yeah, there is actually a somewhat scientific explanation for how they got caught and how they get out.
Right.
Beyond just the universe has decided you're in a time loop now.
Right.
So yeah, that I think, as grounded as something like this can be, I think that helps a lot. I also really, really enjoyed, the two of them have, obviously Nyles is in the time loop for a lot longer than Sarah is. But, they spend who knows how long together, long enough for them to fall in love.
Right.
But then ultimately I really liked that they come to completely different ideas of, what the time, or they have completely different feelings about the time loop. Like
Right.
Nyles is completely happy to just stay in it forever, and Sarah, just like they want sort of the same thing. They just want it in a different way.
Right.
Like they just want to be together, but in different circumstances.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. Like that was a nice sort of character-driven conflict for them.
Yeah, I enjoyed that as well, and I gotta admit, I kind of was more on Niles' side.
Yeah.
I mean, being stuck in the same day and the same situation, it's gonna suck for sure, and I totally understand, because the revelation of how Sarah starts her day every day is shitty for her for sure.
Yeah.
But also, you're stuck in that one day. You never have to worry about money. You never have to worry about bills. Just life in general, like all the stresses of it, you can just set aside because you're just going to restart that day over and over again, and you can do whatever you want for that day.
Right.
And as repetitive and shitty as life is, why not?
I feel like once they figure out how to get out, like knowing that there's a potential way to escape would be enough for me to be like, all right, I'm going to stay here for a while.
Yeah.
Because there would probably come a point where you would get bored.
Sure.
Waking up the same way, doing the same thing, never aging.
Right.
and unable to die. So yeah, just sort of having that in your back pocket would be nice.
Yeah.
Like I can imagine Nyles getting to a point where he's like, all right, I've had enough. Let's blow ourselves up now.
I mean, again, we don't know how long they've been in there. We just know that he has been in there for a very, very long time.
Right.
And I mean, the way the movie starts, it really feels like he's hit that sort of nadir anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, like he asks his girlfriend to kill him.
Yeah.
Like one of the first things in the movie.
Yeah, I think the IMDb trivia said that the writer said that Nyles was in there for around 40 years.
Wow.
So so that's a while.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. As much as I did enjoy this movie, and again, going back to Groundhog Day, I don't think I would be able to handle if suddenly this became a, well, how long were they in the loop kind of thing that surrounds Groundhog Day all the time.
Sure, yeah. Well, he became a piano virtuoso and learned all these languages and studied all this literature.
Right.
So it would have to have taken X number of days.
Yeah, and in this movie, Sarah becomes essentially a professor in quantum physics.
I don't know how long that takes.
I would imagine not a short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's, probably not like a correspondence course that you can take.
Yeah.
Several years for sure.
Yeah. I got a guest here. Hang on.
Okay.
All right. It's a little black cat.
I figured.
Yeah.
Hello, Chaco.
Hello, Chaco. He's, yeah.
But
all right.
So yeah, there's Nyles and Sarah. Obviously, we haven't talked about Roy at all.
So I did. I knew Andy Samberg and Kristen Milotti were in this movie. I was not expecting J.K. Simmons.
He is always a welcome surprise, as far as I'm concerned.
The best. I will welcome J.K. Simmons into anything that I'm watching because he is fucking delightful.
Yeah.
Even when he is just an insane man with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, what a strange choice of weapon. Maybe probably what he was able to get on short notice.
I guess. It's sort of revealed that he's done a lot of things. So
right.
Maybe it's just what suits him that day.
That could be.
He seems like he's probably a hunter, so probably just has them.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Well, he does, because later on in the movie, when he kills Nyles in his backyard.
Oh, right, he just has it at his house.
Yep.
All right, you got me. But yeah, he has a relatively small part. Yeah, I say relatively compared to the two leads and a lot of the other characters.
Sure.
But yeah, he makes an impact for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he is great, and just the fact that it stems from the line that Roy and I partied one night.
Right. That whole sequence is pretty great.
Yeah. Oh, I love J.K. Simmons. To this day, I still think about him in Whiplash.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll always be Dr. Emil Skoda from Law and Order to me. From like late 90s Law and Order.
Oh yeah, I remember. He was like a psychologist or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He was one of the prosecutor's psychologists.
Gotcha. And also surprise Superman in this movie as well.
Yes, Superman and Veronica Lodge are both in this movie.
I don't know what you're talking about with that second name you just said.
From Riverdale? No?
I do not watch Riverdale.
Oh, you should watch Riverdale. It's really fun.
All right.
You love Teen Wolf. I think you'd love Riverdale.
I do love Teen Wolf, and that is mostly where I know Tyler Hoechlin from. You're right. He is Superman. He's the CW Superman. Yep.
He plays Abe, the groom in the wedding.
Yes.
And then the actress who plays Tala, who's I knew her name like 2 minutes ago and it has completely escaped me. But she plays Veronica on Riverdale.
Oh, okay.
And they do look like siblings. As Andy Samberg points out early in the movie.
Yeah, they kind of do. They don't do too much in the movie. They're mostly just in the background, but they both have pivotal roles, I'd say.
Yeah.
But the early, the first day that Sarah gets trapped in the loop, where Tala runs out onto the swimming pool and smashes her teeth in.
Yeah, I hated that.
I did hate that, but also made me laugh for a very long time.
It's very funny. It is very funny once I got over my squeamishness about the teeth.
Yeah, no. I think also, again, surprised Peter Gallagher in this movie as well.
Oh, I love seeing Peter Gallagher and stuff, too.
When he just proudly declares that he found a dentist that glues teeth.
He's so great. Camila Mendes is the actress who plays Tala. I did not look it up, I just remembered.
Well, that's good. I trust you.
Thank you.
Also, later on in the movie, Dale Dickey shows up. She's the God, I can't remember her character's name, but she's like the bar chick.
Yeah, okay. I know I recognized her. I didn't know what from.
Yeah, well, she's in like everything.
Okay, there you go.
Everything that needs a white trash older woman. That's usually her.
Gotcha.
My favorite thing that she was in was she was the daytime hooker in My Name is Earl.
Nice.
Because, she's not good enough to be a nighttime hooker.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I can see that. Yikes. Also, sex worker.
Yeah, well, 20 years ago.
I know.
Things have changed.
So yeah, I mean, it's. I feel like it's sort of hard to talk about a comedy.
Yeah.
It's good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, no. Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti have great chemistry together. Both of the characters seem just fully realized.
Yeah.
I mean, even your tertiary characters are all just sort of there, but even like the secondary characters feel a little more full than your average movie.
Yeah, like even the bartender I thought was really fun. Like she has minimal screen time and only a few lines, but I feel like she nails that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And Andy Samberg is sort of I feel like doing what I expect from Andy Samberg.
Mm-hmm.
It's somewhat Jake Peralta-esque.
Yeah.
But it works. It's fine. He's good at it, so I'm not going to argue with it.
I mean, and I think we've talked about this before. I've really come around on Andy Samberg.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, and it's mostly due to Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But, I mean, I just, when he was on SNL, like, I could not stand him. But with Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like, he became really endearing. But I do remember a couple years ago watching Hot Rod.
Yeah.
And just finding that to be absolutely hilarious. But, also going into it with zero expectation. And a couple months ago I watched Pop Star Never Stop Stopping.
Right.
And, just it like made me laugh so much I hurt. So, I'm glad that he, I don't know if he's doing anything different or if it's just, just the fact that SNL sucks everyone down into an unfunny, hole. But, I'm glad that, I'm glad he's around and I'm glad he makes stuff.
Yeah, agreed. He's a clever fella.
Yeah. And Kristen Milioti, like I made the joke last week that, she has cancer and everything that she makes. Just because she, had cancer on How I Met Your Mother and in Fargo season 2. Right. But, she's, like, I've had a crush on her, like, ever since I saw her in, there was a movie that Jason and I reviewed for Gutter Trash called Year of the Carnivore.
Okay.
Which I don't think I cared for that movie, but, like, I was just drawn to her, though. And I just get very excited whenever she would pop up randomly and things. So I'm glad that, I think this is the first time I've seen her in like a lead role, and she's very, very good.
She is very good. Yeah, I know she had a sitcom, I think, post How I Met Your Mother that I don't think did very well. The only other thing that I think I've seen her in is the episode of Black Mirror that she's in. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the like sort of Star Trek pastiche. One, yeah. And she's really good in that too.
She is.
Oh yeah, and I guess Fargo. Yeah.
Yeah. She was also in an episode of 30 Rock, where she gets hired in the all-male writer's room to be, the sole female writer other than Liz.
Amazing.
But, she is... comes off as very bubbly and ditzy, and she pushes her tits out and all that, and wears very skippy clothing, so that all the men will like her. And Liz hates her, but then discovers that she's actually this incredibly smart woman who is doing all this just to gain success.
I vaguely remember that one, and I remember that being really funny.
Yep. She's great, and it was. The whole movie is just absolutely delightful.
Yeah.
And I will say it has a mid-credits scene,
right?
Which I thought was actually so good that it made me forget the actual ending of the movie.
Yeah, the actual ending's really good too.
It is, but mid credits, we get J.K. Simmons back for one last scene,
one last heist.
Yes,
where he steals the movie.
He does. It essentially, it's leading him to realize that there's a way out of his time loop. And I was like, oh, awesome, and he's great in that scene. And it literally made me forget that we do see the fates of Nyles and Sarah. I finished the movie and I was like, oh, it's weird that they, it's weird and kind of cool that they didn't show us what actually happens to them. And then, a day later, I realized that, oh, wait, they did. We saw exactly what happened.
Well, it's probably, a little confusing because there are a lot of implications to that mid-credits scene.
Mm-hmm.
The primary one being that all of the other timelines that they experienced still happened and are happening out there somewhere. Because, Roy meets a version of Nyles who does not remember being in a time loop and does not remember ever having met Roy before. So, it's the multiverse, man.
Well, maybe once Sarah and Nyles are out of the loop, it just goes back to the original version, in which Roy is now the sole person constantly stuck in it.
Maybe, I guess.
I
don't know.
I literally just thought of this. What if there are other people who got stuck in it?
The goat was stuck in it.
Sure.
What was the goat's experience? That'll be the sequel. It's just all about the goat and their adventures. I would watch that in a heartbeat.
I would too. That just may be because I really enjoyed the Quantum and Woody comic that heavily featured a goat.
Wait, Quantum?
Quantum and Woody?
Quantum theory?
Oh.
Quantum physics?
Oh, no.
Whoa. Am I caught in a time loop right now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Good luck getting out of it.
Thanks. I'll just go blow myself up. It's fine.
All right.
Couldn't have picked a better day for it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could relive a day when Donald Trump is impeached over and over again. That's probably fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be better if, something, more significant was happening to him, but,
it's true.
This is fine.
Yeah. Take what we can get.
Exactly. Oh, anything has brought you joy this week, please share it.
Oh, boy. I feel like I had something. Oh, I read a book.
Oh, okay.
There's a book called let me look at it. I forget what it's called. It's called Comic Book Implosion.
Okay.
It is an oral history of the DC Comics explosion and then the Great Implosion of the 70s. So it's basically just all about DC Comics in the 70s.
Nice.
And it's been a book that I'd been meaning to read for a while just because I've always found that time really interesting, and I didn't really know a lot about, the factors that led to the DC implosion.
Right.
And yeah, so I read that over this past weekend, and it was really entertaining and really, really informative. I feel like I learned stuff.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's probably the thing that has made me happy. The happiest this week is learning stuff.
Well, that's cool. And
doing some book learning.
I'm absolutely fascinated by that era as well, and did not know there was a book about it, and should probably check that out.
Yeah, it's published by Two Morrows.
Oh, okay.
So
not one Morrows.
Not one Morrows, Two Morrows.
Two Morrows. Gotcha.
Yes. Not to be confused with T.O. Morrow. He has nothing to do with the publishing of this book.
But did he have anything to do with the DC explosion or implosion? Did a Mezo do something?
He might have. Shit, I don't remember that part. I'll have to read it again.
Oh, you're caught in a time loop.
Oh, no. It's fine. It's a good book. I don't mind. What about you?
You know what? I got nothing.
Yeah.
So this movie.
That's fair. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, no, this movie was delightful, and it is literally the only thing that made me feel okay this week.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Even if I had to watch it while sitting on a broken recliner because that happened.
Oh, no.
Yep. And that was just one of those straw on the camel's back kind of things.
Yeah,
just everything got shitty, and then I got home and sat down and my recliner broke.
That's so terrible.
Yep.
I will say, watching it a second time, there is stuff that I noticed, or the foreshadowing that I caught that I didn't the first time. So if you're so inclined to watch it a second time, if you want to wait a week or two,
sure.
But yeah, it's a rewarding second watch for sure.
That's good. That's I'm glad to know that. Yeah, I probably will. I thought about watching it earlier today, but I got interrupted as soon as I got home. So
gotcha.
Yeah. Oh well.
That happens.
Yeah.
It'll still be there.
Yeah. Hopefully, it is a Hulu original technically, so hopefully they're not taking it away anytime soon.
It'd be strange if they did. I think.
Yeah.
If they're getting rid of their original content, what's even the point?
Right. I mean, I guess I could see that happening with like Runaways.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
The stuff that's licensed from other companies.
Yeah. Or, the ever popular Hellstrom.
Oh, right. I totally forgot about that show.
As did everyone else.
I was going to say, as did everyone. Oh, boy.
So you got a movie to watch for next week?
I do.
Alrighty.
This movie comes to us from Amazon Prime.
Okie doke.
At least last time I checked. It is. I'm going back to my classics theme.
Okay, all right.
And this is an Orson Welles movie, actually. Again, I know. I'm working my way through all of them. We'll get to Transformers, I promise.
Okay, all right.
But it's called The Lady from Shanghai.
Okay, never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't think I'd heard of it either. And then I was scrolling through Amazon and I saw it and I was like, oh, that looks good.
Okay.
That's how I pick movies.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, all right. I'm looking forward to it. Lady from Shanghai.
Yes, excellent.
All righty. Well, then we'll watch that and get back to everyone with our thoughts and feelings.
Perfect. All right. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to The Viewmasters. You can subscribe to the show directly at view.guttertrash.net or at iTunes and leave us a review. Visit view.guttertrash.net for email information and links to Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time on The Viewmasters.